everyone, welcome back to This Day in Weather. If you're just joining this channel, this is where you can learn about weather events that occurred in the United States on the date the video was posted in years past. Today is May 6th. On this day in 1930, 81 people died across eastern Texas in a tornado outbreak. Most of the deaths were from two F4 tornadoes, the first of which destroyed the town of Frost, where at least 22 were left dead. Another 16 died on farms south of Bynum. At least 41 died overall in that tornado. The second major tornado took 36 lives, most of which were on tenant farms in poorly built homes near Kennedy, Runge, and Nordheim. On this day in 1975, it was the start of a day-and-a-half long outbreak of at least a dozen tornadoes that affected the upper Midwest. The causeless of these tornadoes was an F4 that struck parts of western Omaha, Nebraska. 3 people died there, and damage was at least 150 million 1975 United States dollars, which in 2026 United States dollars would equate to over $920.66 million. At the time, it was the costliest tornado in United States history. Across the nearly 2,000 block on a 15-mile long path, over 1,000 homes were damaged. Magnet, Nebraska was struck by a separate F4 tornado that destroyed or damaged nearly all buildings in the town. The tornadoes are produced by thunderstorms moving across a narrow region of warm and moist air that had advanced northwards into the upper Midwest as a result of a strong area of low pressure over South Dakota. Additional tornadoes on May 7th and May 8th, including several in Louisiana, Texas, and Mississippi, were associated with the same storm system. The outbreak caused 3 deaths in Omaha and at least 149 injuries. On this day in 2003, it was in the middle of a week-plus-long series of destructive tornado outbreaks that affected much of the Great Plains and eastern United States. The series lasted from May 3rd through the 11th, with the worst of the severe activity being from May 4th through the 10th. That period saw the most tornadoes in a week-long span in United States history. 335 tornadoes occurred, concentrated in the Ozarks and central Mississippi River Valley. Additional tornadoes were produced by the same storm system from May 3rd through the 11th. A total of 363 tornadoes were produced, of which 62 were significant. The strongest tornadoes of the outbreaks were 6 F4s, 4 of which occurred on May 4th. The tornadoes and flooding associated with the system caused 4.1 billion 2003 United States dollars in damage, which would equate to over 7.358 billion in 2026 United States dollars. This was the costliest outbreak of the 2000s. The severe weather caused 50 fatalities, 41 of which were from tornadoes, and 713 injuries, 652 of which were from tornadoes. The deadliest tornado was an F4 that struck the Tennessee counties of Madison and Henderson and killed 11. On this day in 2007, it was the last day of a 2-plus-day major and damaging tornado outbreak that started on the 4th and significantly affected portions of the central United States. Much of the impacted region saw several strong to violent long-track tornadoes. The most destructive tornado of the outbreak was the first EF5 of the then new enhanced Fujiya scale on the evening of May 4th in western Kansas, and was the first such intensity since the 1999 Bridge Creek Moore, Oklahoma tornado. In Kiowa County, roughly 95% of the city of Greensburg was destroyed. The supercell caused 13 fatalities, including 11 in Greensburg and 2 from separate tornadoes. In Greensburg alone, at least 63 people were injured. It was also the strongest tornado of an outbreak that included several other tornadoes across Oklahoma, Colorado, Kansas, and South Dakota on the same night. On the morning of the 5th, the Storm Prediction Center issued a high risk across Kansas and Nebraska, a moderate risk for southern South Dakota and northwest Oklahoma, and a slight risk for most of Oklahoma, northern South Dakota, southern North Dakota, eastern Nebraska, western Iowa, and northeastern Colorado. There were already severe weather reports coming in by late morning, and the first tornado reports came during the early afternoon hours. The most intense activity took place during the late afternoon and evening hours as supercells developed along a line from South Dakota to North Texas. There were over 80 tornadoes that day, along with hail as large as softballs and straight-line winds as strong as 90 miles per hour. The activity weakened in the late evening, but not before the last tornadoes were reported in Iowa in the overnight hours. The Storm Prediction Center also issued a moderate risk for severe storms over parts of central Kansas and Oklahoma on the 6th. The activity was far less than on the previous 2 days, but there were still several additional tornadoes across the plains, but were weaker than the previous 2 days. The outbreak produced 132 tornadoes, making it one of the largest in the United States. It also caused 14 fatalities, 89 injuries, and $268,000,2007 United States dollars in damage, which would equate to over 426.81 million in 2026 United States dollars. That will close up this edition of This Day in Weather, but be sure to stay tuned in because whenever there's a new video, you will learn about weather events that occurred in the United States on the date the video was posted in years past. Please hit the thumbs up button to like this video. Please hit the subscribe button to be sure to never miss a new video. If you're just joining this channel, please check out all the other videos that have been posted on this channel. And please check out my Patreon at patreon.com/c/thisdayinweather for more content.